Play, talk, listen. Yo, it's the Big Mahomes Show. Come on, homie, get with it. Play, talk, listen, you love it, so go repeat it. Ain't no opposition, the catalog undefeated. You listen to something different, I guarantee you deleted all facts. You wanna spell the name, gotta be all caps. You're looking for the best action, we all that. This major ballin', we got it poppin', it's never stopping. The hottest topics, you know we all that. This is not up for debating, cause 505 bit it rated. We taking up to the apex, listening to the greatest. Brandon hotter than haters, for the brothers and ladies. It's the Big Mahomes Show. Sit back, play, talk, listen.
It's the Big Mahomes Show.
Yes, sir. Hey, I want to welcome all the people to the Big Mahomes Show. I'm your host, Pat Mahomes, host of the Big Mahomes Show. I'm feeling some kind of way today. It's baseball playoff stretch time for the baseball season. You got the Mets and the Braves battling for that number one spot over there. You got the Yankees doing their thing. You got the Blue Jays, Brewers, and all the others trying to get those wild card spots. So very exciting time of the season for me. Time that I always thrived on. Getting a chance to get to try to play in postseason, play on the biggest stage was something that I always thought about. We also know that the football season is started now. We're 3 weeks in, going week 4 tonight. We got the Dolphins and the Bengals tonight, which should be a very exciting game. A lot of surprises, maybe a few disappointments for some of the teams. But it's been very exciting so far. We got a lot of guys that are really balling out, playing really good football and everything. So, we're gonna look at the whole scope of things. We're gonna talk about baseball. We're gonna talk about football. We're gonna talk about whatever we want to talk about tonight here on the Big Mahomes Show. I'm joined tonight once again by my boy Darren Smith. You can catch him on the ship up there in KC. He'll let you know exactly where you can find him at. So it's always a pleasure anytime I get to hang out with him. So, yo, D, what's going on, man? How's it going?
And look, I'm glad we were talking before the air. I'm glad I know where I'm going this weekend. Didn't know if it's going to be Tampa Bay or Minneapolis. So I'm glad they've got everything taken care of as it relates to, to where the game's going to be played this Sunday. But, man, I'm excited. Like you said, the postseason's about to start for Major League Baseball next week. Football is revving up. We got the NBA that's about to start their exhibition, and they're about to start their season up next month in October. So, I mean, this is the time that we live in, man. I mean, this is the best time of the year for me when you've got all these sports and, of course, college football and basketball as well. So there's going to be so much stuff going on, that, doing the show with you is always a plus. And, of course, it's the Big Mahomes Show. So, of course, hey, I'm always happy to be on with you.
Oh, man, it's crazy right now. It's a great time of season. The weather's starting to get a little right here in Texas. It was 72 degrees today. I was out on the golf course, having some fun. I even had to break out the pants today. I didn't even use the shorts and all that. So, it's a great time, like you said, for sports. It's a great time when you got football, you got baseball coming down to the end. You got basketball getting ready to start up. You got college football. You got all these different things that you can watch. And as a true sports fan like I am, I like to wet my beak in all of it. So, you got, plenty of pleasure for all that. So we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come right back, and we're going to dive right into the MLB, this playoff race, everything that's going on. So stay tuned. Be right back with you on the Big Mahomes Show. Welcome back to the Big Mahomes Show. I'm your host, Pat Mahomes, and we're going to dive right into it. We're going to start with this baseball season. Hey, we got the Braves and the Mets battling down to the wire. Of course, I'm partial. You know, I played for the Mets when we was against the Braves, and it was always a bitter rival. You know, something that I will never ever forget for as long as I live. But now you got the Braves and the Mets, one game separating the two. Got a big 3-game series coming up, starting tomorrow. Who you got, D? Who you got, man? Man, you got the Braves, you got the Mets. You know, I'm partial. You know who I got? I got the Mets. I mean, I'm all in. You know, I was up there a couple of weeks, what, about 3, 4 weeks ago for the old timers game. You know, got to feel the nostalgia of what was going on and had a great time there. Besides the toothache that I got up there, but other than that. I mean, I had a great time up there in New York. So, I mean, I'm just wondering. I mean, you've been watching them now. We
I
got
have.
we got a great sample size. I mean, who you got, man? We coming down with. I mean, they play the same opponents. I mean, the Braves had the Nationals, and now they got the Mets, and then they're going to finish with the Marlins. And I think the Mets had the Marlins. Now they playing the Braves, and they're going to finish with the Nationals. So 6 games to go. Who you got?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Now, it's interesting. We know who you siding with. I gotta tell you, growing up, I was an Atlanta Braves fan, so so now I feel like my loyalties are tied. My guy is Pat Mahomes, and my team is regularly is the Atlanta Braves. But in this particular series, I'm gonna go with the Braves. I think because the last time these two played, the series was in New York, and the Mets got the better of the Braves. I do think being at home so much on the line. I think this is going to be a big series for Atlanta, and I think just because of the obviously you come down to the wire, you kind of need these games if you're going to obviously get over the Mets, in the standings as well as trying to win the division crown. I like I like Atlanta to win the series this weekend.
Oh, you really do. I mean, Degrom. I mean, Scherzer. I mean, you got some bad boys going on the Mets side. I know they got Free going against Degrom tomorrow. That's
Yep.
gonna be a hell of a game. I mean, I would pay money to go watch it. You know, being a pitcher as I've been all my life, but I don't know. I just feel like it's just one of those years. You know, when the Mets get on, when they get close. They play really good baseball. I know that was a deal with us in '99. That was a deal with us in 2000. I know there's a deal in '69. I know that anytime they get close, they usually perform because you're so used to being under that pressure of playing in New York and being the step brother to the Yankees and all that. And then when you get a chance to shine, you really want to shine. So I'm really picking the Mets to kind of do this thing. I really feel like this year, either. I mean, they're both going to be in the playoffs. They're both going to have their chance to shine. But I mean, it's a little bit of bragging rights and to know that you were better than them if you end up facing again head to head. You got that little advantage to go by.
Pat, let me ask you this. Obviously, when you played it and you talk about when it gets close and it gets down to literally, like you're saying, the last week of the season, what's the talk in the locker room and what is your manager saying to you? I mean, does he have to say anything to you all to motivate you, or do you already know the situation to where, you don't need any motivational talk, whatever, you just go out there and play? Like, what's the feel in the locker room when you got a big game like this going up, especially when you're only one game apart?
Well, I mean, the manager doesn't have to say anything. If you're not alive, if you're playing in that city, like the song says, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. As I think it was Frank Sinatra that
Frank
said
Sinatra.
one. Yeah, he was the one that said it. That's the truth. I mean, every time I'd walk into the stadium, no matter if I've been out on a 2-day bender, getting drunk or whatever, or doing whatever, when I stepped into that stadium, stepped onto that baseball field, man, I mean, the adrenaline was there, and I was pumped, and I knew what was going to happen. If I didn't perform, I knew I was going to hear boos. If I did my job, I'm going to hear cheers, and then I don't have to worry about the paper and the reporters and the media after the game, So be straightforward with them. The manager doesn't have to say anything at this point. I mean, you played at this point, you played 150, 155 games.
Yeah.
You know what's on the line there. Um, for some of the younger guys, I mean, hell, that playoff check might be more than what you made the whole season. So, I mean, if you're not motivated to play then you're just not ready to play baseball, and you probably shouldn't be in the clubhouse.
Is this game or is this series because the two teams are so close in record wise? Is this more of a rivalry? I mean, I know Yankees Mets is a interstate rivalry, but but do they consider the Braves an actual rival because of how close this these standings are?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, that's been our nemesis for a lot of years. I mean, the Braves have put together a lot of great seasons. There are a lot of great teams. I mean, you go back to the Matters, Glavine, Avery, Smoltz days, and
Yeah,
Millwood, and all those guys until now. What they got going on, and plus them being the world champs last year, it's you're striving to get where they already are, and you know that if you can put together, four good games or three good games or however many the series is going to be at that time when they eventually meet, then you have a chance to win and you have a chance to play for a world championship. Of course, you got the Dodgers over there and you got some of the 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 big guys over there, but you can't think that for you got to take it one game at a time. Um, yeah, ideally they would want the Braves in NLCS and to prove that they've gotten past that hurdle, but you'll take it any kind of way you can get it right now.
and obviously, the biggest thing that's going to come out of this is whoever wins the series, I think, gets a leg up. Will have a leg up on that division because remember, you want home field advantage, as a
No
division winner
doubt.
versus a wild card.
Oh no, no, without a doubt. I mean, you want to be playing in front of your fans. I mean, it's a hostile, you know, time when you're playing in the playoffs. The place is going to be packed. It's going to be sold out, and if you can get four games at your place, versus four at their place, that's a big difference. But switching on over, a little history was made last night. Aaron Judge. He tied Roger Maris. He hit a 61. I still laugh. I laugh at the highlight. I think about that fan thinking about that 2.5 million or 3 million he lost by letting it tip his glove and not catching it. I was telling my boy Willie Banks a while ago. I was like, if that ball would have came to me, I might have fell in the bullpen. I might have been paralyzed, but I still had the ball hanging up right there. But
I
you
heard
know,
now. I heard that the person who tipped it heard his wife is a Fox News reporter. She's really upset about him. About him not catching the ball or giving it back to him, as she says. To where that was money for her, and she's really
well,
upset about that.
Well, I imagine so. I mean, she saw the payday. She probably the one that got in them tickets there, and she put them there for a reason. Hey,
That's a
when
good
you hit it,
point.
it's a good chance he might hit it here. And for him, not to make that catch, I know he's very disappointed. But hey, what an amazing accomplishment
Yeah.
for Aaron Judge. I mean, he hit 61 home runs in that league. I mean, it's pretty outstanding, and to also have a shot, to win a triple crown like he's doing that, just shows that he's a complete hitter, complete ball player. When you're looking at the days when guys are hitting 50, 45, 50 home runs and batting 210, see a guy hitting 313 with 61 and also, being a big contract year for him, betting on himself and then to come through like
Yeah.
this at the biggest stage. I mean, it's just quite remarkable. And I just want to shoot him a big congratulations because I know how hard the game is. Baseball is a game of failure. And for someone to succeed like that, and especially with, all that he has on his shoulders right now and leading that team into the playoffs, I mean, I think it's just very, very exciting.
Yeah, I remember, when we talked a few months ago, when Aaron Judge was going through the whole arbitration deal, and he and the Yankees met in the middle. you know, with the salary that he's making now, the fact he's able to bet on himself, obviously, we'll talk a little bit later about Lamar Jackson doing the same thing, and the fact that not only is he going to succeed and win, I really hope that by betting on himself and with the question that we're asking, is he going to be a lock for MVP? I'm hoping that the Yankees will reciprocate and pay him his worth. Now that he's because I would imagine he'll be a free agent after this season. And so with that being the case, hopefully the Yankees will take care of him, because I know if they don't, I know somebody who played for the other team. I know that CEO will be more than happy to offer him, saying 300 million, 400, 500 million dollars, and he
Uh,
would of course take it.
you best believe as soon as this season goes over, there's going to be a Brinks truck parked right in front of his house. So, he can pretty much choose whoever he wants to play, wherever he wants to play. But I would imagine that he will be a Yankee. That's their um, that's what they do. They're going to get the best player. They're going to pay the most money. And like I said, it's the biggest and the best stage in the world. Uh, I hate to say it, but New York is it. And then to play in the Bronx, which, I have a lot of disdain for, the Yankees and everything, being a Met. And always playing against the Yankees and everything. But he's definitely worth whatever he gets. But that being said, man, hey, we're gonna take a quick short break. We're gonna come back into the NFL. We got a lot of exciting things that's going on in the NFL right now. Uh, we'll preview the Bucks and the Chiefs game. Also, some of the other matches that are going on, and some of the surprises, some of the disappointments. So, give us a short, quick minute to take care of some business here, and we'll be right back on the Big Mahomes Show. Well, the NFL season is on and it's going. We got a lot of exciting things to talk about there. Two undefeated teams. I think there's one in AFC that would be the Miami Dolphins, who are playing tonight versus the Cincinnati Bengals, and we got the Philadelphia Eagles, man,
Oh
that are
yeah.
looking like world busters right now, and they'll be on till Sunday as well. Um, they early in the season, we got these things going on. Like I said, we got the Eagles, the Dolphins doing what their thing. We got the Bengals 1-2 coming off the Super Bowl. We got some other teams that haven't quite performed like we thought they would. So far in this early season, what have been the biggest surprises and also your biggest disappointments so far through week 3?
Biggest surprise, I will be honest, would be the Las Vegas Raiders. The fact that they're winless. Again, I thought that they would have beaten the Arizona Cardinals, especially after what Kansas City did. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, okay, you got Devontae Adams, you got Hunter Renfro, you got Darren Waller.
Waller, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, how can you have all that offense and you were a playoff team last year? Do you not exploit that? And the fact that they, not only gave the game away but lost and have been winless, to me that's the most surprising. I guess you could say it's the Raiders being the Raiders, but but you acquire one of the best wide receivers in all of football, and your offense still isn't gelling, and it's not being explosive as it should be. That to me is the biggest disappointment. Biggest surprise would be the Miami Dolphins. The fact that they were able to come back from 3 touchdowns down to beat Baltimore at Baltimore Stadium. Of course, they're currently trailing right now, against the Cincinnati Bengals. So maybe to be brought back down to earth. But I look at that team. I look at the fact that people talk about Tua, being helped with Tyreek Hill and Waddle. Well, to me, I mean, he just pretty much has the same offense that he had when he was at Alabama. He had all this speed down there, tight end, running back when he was at Alabama. So I think that if he's healthy, he's finally got an offensive line that's kind of blocking for him. He's got a couple of speed wideouts, and so now you got to figure out how to defend him. So I feel like if he can stay healthy, I think he can lead that team to the playoffs and maybe even the division title because they did beat the Buffalo Bills. So
And they have definitely opened up some eyes so far, where they're playing a little controversy the other day, with him maybe having a concussion or a back problem or whatever. However it went, he got back on the field and he got the job done. So uh, Tyreek wasn't really a factor the last game, but, they still won, man. They're playing good football over there in the South, in
yeah,
South Florida down there.
which team do you think has been most surprising for you though?
Well, probably the most surprising team for me is the Eagles.
Yeah.
I knew Jalen Hurts was a player. I go back to the days when he came down to Tyler for the Earl Campbell Award, which was given out to the best college football player that had ties to Texas.
Hmm.
And him and Patrick and Deontay Foreman and one other guy, I can't remember his name right now, but those four were the finalists, and I was impressed, with talking to him that day and seeing what kind of young man he was. Then to go through with what he went to when losing one game in his college career and then being benched, for Tua, and then being able to go to Oklahoma and resurrect his career and to get in the NFL and do what he's done. I mean, I always had much praise for that guy. So that would be my biggest surprise. My biggest disappointment. Uh, I thought the Vikings were going to be really, really good this year,
Hmm.
and they really disappointed me. I even went so far as to take Kirk Cousins in my fantasy football draft, and
I mean, they are
everybody
2-1
laughed.
though.
Well, everybody laughed. Everybody laughed, and I just thought they would have a lot better showing than what they've had so far. Record withstanding, I just thought that they would be a better team, and now I see that Davin Cook's hurt, and some other guys are doing some things. So that's probably been my biggest disappointment. But hey, we got a big one coming up Sunday night. We got
Oh
the
yeah.
Chiefs and the Buccaneers. We got Mahomes versus Brady once again. Uh, I don't know if this will be the last time they play. I don't know if it'll be the final matchup. For some reason, I'm having visions of both teams being in the Super Bowl, and people think I'm crazy. But I know that the first time I encountered Mr. Tom Brady, I went to the game, Patrick's first year starting in 2018, and they were playing over at
That was
Foxborough.
in yeah, yeah, I was there.
Yeah,
Yes.
they were playing there, and I remember sitting on the sideline. I had my son Graham with me, and we were watching the game, watching the pregame and everything, sitting out and talking to Patrick a little bit. And Tom Brady come out of that tunnel, and he looked right at Patrick, and he said some words that were probably worse than what Chris Jones just got fined, got his unsportsmanlike conduct for. And I was sitting there, I'm like, God, this guy is 42, 43 years old, and he still got this much fire in it. And I was impressed by then. So I'm expecting to see a really good football game. I'm glad that it's going to be in Tampa. Like you said, we didn't know if we were going to Tampa. We didn't know if we were going to Minneapolis. And now I'm staying home in Texas because, it's taking this long to get it all done. But looking forward to seeing that game. From what you've seen from the Chiefs and what you know from Tampa, how do you see this game going?
It's interesting. We got a chance to talk to your son this week on Wednesday at his presser. We talked to Andy, also talked to Eric Benjamin and the coordinators on Thursday. Uh, Look, they know that they let an opportunity slip away in the game last week against the Indianapolis Colts. To me, in our pregame show, myself and Steve, we talked about, we thought the Chiefs were going to win by double digits. There was just no way. And it's funny because we always talk about the odds and the odds makers and the fact that they had the Chiefs 5.5. We're like, well, the Chiefs should be winning by double digits. And the fact that, of course, not only did the Colts cover, they won. It was most interesting to say the least. I think that seeing how both teams played last week and seeing how the offense struggled mightily with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against Green Bay. I think that they have more issues that they need to get fixed versus Kansas City. I think Kansas City's issue was more so lack of focus and execution. I think that can be remedied. I think Brady really has a lot of issues to where he didn't have a lot of timing. Um, um, well, he's got a lot of timing issues with his receivers, and of course, if anything that they have going for him is the run game. I think the Chiefs, um, you know, they've been playing to me very well defensively, and I think that's going to carry them also in this game as well. I think they'll be able to get after Tom Brady. So I do see Kansas City bouncing back, and I think they'll win. And I don't think this game is going to be as close. I know Tampa Bay is a 1 point favorite, actually, but I like Kansas City to bounce back and win this game. I think they win at 28-24. And this time around, and look, they have long memories. They know what Tampa Bay did to them in the Super Bowl. And so I think Shaq Barrett made some comments this week about the offensive line. And, so I think the Chiefs are going to go in there with their head down, but they're going to go in there with the determination to win. And I really think that Patrick, one of the things that he knows that he needs to do is he's got to be accurate getting the ball out to his receivers. I know he's been either overthrowing them or throwing it too slow, throwing it just throwing it where they're not at. And of course, receivers like Travis Kelce and others, they know that they have to, that the ball touches their hands, they know they have to catch it as well. So I expect a much better game from Patrick Mahomes in Sunday's game against the Bucks, and I do see them winning 28-24.
Okay. Also, some other big games on tap. We got Buffalo versus Baltimore. We got Josh Allen versus Lamar. Lamar is playing at an unbelievable level right now. Um, Buffalo, got a few injuries. Coming off a big loss to Miami last week. That's going to be a battle too. How do you see that game going?
It's interesting. Buffalo's coming off of. It's funny. Some of these teams, the Bucks, the Chiefs, the Bills, they're coming off losses that I didn't expect them to lose last week.
Yeah.
Well, Bucks maybe against Green Bay, but them being at home, I thought they would win. But Buffalo, I didn't see them losing. I didn't see them losing last week against Miami. So I want to see how they bounce back. Obviously, me covering the Chiefs, I want to see how they bounce back this weekend. But I'm going to see how they do it. Baltimore. Lamar Jackson had another big game where he contributed 5 touchdowns, four in the air, one on the ground against New England. Every time he steps out on the field, he's been on himself, like we talked about with Aaron Judge. But every game when he finishes, it's like his contract price continues to go up, and so this is going to be the best game I think of the afternoon slate, and the fact that it's a noon game or 1 o'clock on the East Coast where I'll be at, man, I'm gonna go with Buffalo, but I really don't like going. It's funny. I got a parlay going, but I don't have Buffalo, Baltimore in it because I don't want to lose it. I don't want to lose it, but I think Buffalo wins this game, but I'm not. I don't have the courage in my conviction to put money on that.
Well, you did a lot more now, because you mentioned that Lamar's contract is going up with each game. I mean, do
Yeah,
you really feel like that's what's going on? I mean, I know he bet on himself, but I mean, they're still going to have some of the same questions that they had before, about him being a running quarterback, about him throwing, but he's seeming to silence, a lot of this stuff by the way he's throwing the ball this year and running more cautiously. I mean, he's still running aggressively, but he's getting out. I've seen him get out a few times. I've seen him not take some hits,
yeah.
that he normally takes. So I don't know if it was a good strategy, a good move that he did, but it seems like he's paying off. And I'm just wondering if after each week, if the price getting higher and higher, or what we got going on here.
Well, you know what they say: yesterday's price is not today's price, and so I'll say this: I think he's playing the game much smarter. So he knows what everybody's saying by betting on himself. So he's not taking unnecessary hits. He doesn't have a problem running out of bounds, which is a beautiful thing, and that's keeping him upright and keeping him safe. As long as he does that, and then right now, I mean, really, he's probably number one right now as it relates after 3 weeks for MVP. So I think if he's betting on himself, he's doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, I would agree wholeheartedly. I mean, he surprised me. I never thought he would play the game without his contract,
Hey,
but
but check this out though. But see, you not slick pack because I now we're gonna circle back around for before we get to the big Mahomes
mhm.
moment. But I need to know who's gonna win the first game that we talked about and who's gonna win this game. See, I ain't letting you get away with
And
that.
what game was that? The Chiefs and
Chiefs,
Chiefs.
Chiefs,
And,
in the yeah.
well, I would say it's a rare occasion uh, for Patrick to lose two games in a row, and I've been talking to him all week, and he's pretty fired up. So I would definitely pick the Chiefs to win. I
Okay.
might even put a little cheese on that, for them on the money line. I don't need the points. I
Well,
really
I mean,
feel
well,
like
look, I mean, it's a +1, so actually, you actually do better just going the +1 route.
I don't know about the plus one. I want the extra cheese on the back end, with the money line,
Okay,
so I can get a little bit more on
I
the
got to
money
see what
line.
that is. Okay, yeah,
I get a little bit more on the money line, and as far as Baltimore and Buffalo, I lost a little money on them this week.
trust me, I know
Um,
about that.
um, I had a buddy that's and now he's a new Miami Dolphin fan, and he bet a little money that the Dolphins were going to beat the Bills, and I told him he was crazy, and he ended up staying in my pocket a little bit. So I'm not too happy about that, but I still picking Buffalo to beat Baltimore in a close game. Um,
Well,
I got
just so you know, Vegas has it even now, so the money
yeah,
line and the spread is even.
yeah. Well, I got the Cowboys. I got the
Ooh,
Cowboys beating the Redskins. We got some interesting developments going over there. Um, People around here are talking about a QB controversy. I think
that's crazy.
soon as Dak gets back with the money he's making, he will be the quarterback. But do you see anything in that? And I'm gonna let you talk about that. Then we're gonna finish up with that big Mahomes moment.
Yeah, I don't think you should be worried at all. 'Cause, look, you brought up. I mean, you brought up the most important point: the amount of money that Jerry Jones is paying him. I mean, I know Jones wants to have a quarterback controversy because obviously that's how Dak Prescott got his job. Of course, when Tony Romo got hurt, Dak Prescott won like 11 games in a row. To
Hmm.
start the season off. So when that happened, of course, Romo couldn't come back in. I don't see the same with Cooper Rush. I don't think the players would even go for that. So I think I do think Dallas wins this game, but Prescott shouldn't be worried. I think the next game is Philadelphia Eagles or another
Hmm.
team. Yeah, so if
Rams
he
and Eagles. I
yeah
know the
so
Rams and Eagles next two opponents. Yeah.
yeah, so if that's the case, you need your best quarterback, back in the fold if he's able to go. So yeah, and of course Jerry Jones talking about, you know, he should be ready anyway. So I'm like, well, okay, if he's ready and you're promoting him to be ready, why would you have him on the bench or fighting for his job? You put him in
Definitely, but Jerry Jones gonna keep the Cowboys in the news, so that's
there.
that's what
Got
he
to.
does. So he's always gonna keep something like that going on. Well, there you have it, people. You got Darren Smith, you got Pat Mahomes, talking about baseball and football. Had some great conversation right now. We're gonna take a quick short break. We're gonna come back with the big Mahomes moment. I think you're gonna like it. So stay tuned, and we'll see you soon back here on the Big Mahomes Show. Welcome back once again. As usual, it's that time of the show that I love the most. It's called the Big Mahomes Moment. It's when I tell you a little something that I have near and dear to my heart. Now, as you all know, I was a former professional baseball player. And since those days, from coaching Patrick, from coaching Jackson, from coaching Graham, from coaching everybody, I now do youth baseball, which they call travel ball, which is select baseball, where the kids, they come out and try out. You select your own team and you go off and you travel and you play different teams from all over, different states and everything like that. And it's something that's really near and dear to my heart because I feel like as a country boy from Lindale, Texas, not even knowing there was a minor league system when I got drafted, I just wanted to go back and give back to the kids and kind of share things with them that I learned, and so that when they get to those those points and those crossroads, that they have an idea of what the people are talking about. But one of the things that really disturbed me this following weekend is the parents. You know, I for the most part have great parents. Supporting my team and doing the things that they're supposed to do, being there for their child, paying for their child due. They spend ungodly money, traveling, booking hotels for the weekend, gas money, driving up to these places, uh, flights if they have to get to this and that place. But the thing that we must remember is that you cannot put too much pressure on your kid. You got to remember that this is still a game. The kids are playing it because they love to play the game, and not everybody is going to be on the same level. No matter how hard you try, you can spend all the money you want. Some kids are going to be more advanced than others, but if you go out there and you play the game the right way, you can open up the eyes just like the kids that are more talented opened up the eyes. So, as a parent, don't expect them at 14 years old to be getting scholarship offers tomorrow or NIL deals tomorrow. Just ride the system, let them have fun, let them go out and play the game and relax and not be stressed out. And I think if we do that and we can get that all together with the knowledge that the coaches out here can give them, that we're going to have a successful recipe. So once again, thank you for joining me here on the Big Mahomes Show. And as always, peace.